No. Okay, yeah, I had to like step away from it to kind of collect myself. Man, talk about a finale, like between the raid, which was, I mean, that was the best raid race we've ever had. Truly incredible. Insane raid. My guys were not able to make it through, which is unfortunate, but we'll run it again when it's on normal. Um, but man, I don't think we could have, given the whole situation over the last few years, I don't think we could have asked for a better ending. As far as the DLC goes, my final thoughts here for now, right? Like I'm going to take us into orbit just so that there isn't as much noise. As far as the DLC goes for now, right? I say for now because part of the reason that like Taken King and Forsaken and all that were so fondly remembered is because the following year had some incredible content come with them, right? But this DLC so far is the best expansion that Bungie has ever done. This is better than Taken King. This is better than Forsaken. The campaign was better. The Pale Heart is better than the Dreadnought, better than the Dreaming City, better than the Tangled Shore. The writing was better. The new supers are very cool, very fun. Prismatic is also pretty insane. I'm still learning it, but I'm really starting to enjoy it. So assuming that the upcoming episodes are also good, we may very well be entering into another golden age of Destiny, which I hope that the upcoming episodes are of that caliber. But coming back to the DLC, as it is now, the story I actually thought was very good. It felt pretty personal, given that it had all these characters involved that we've known for so long. The dynamic between a lot of them was great. Like, I don't want to talk too much, I don't want to spoil too much, right? But the dynamic between Crow and Cade, they were hilarious together. And in the side quests post campaign, you have one involving Keitel and Zavala, one involving Mithrax and Ikora, and those are fantastic. Those are very well done. It's fun to see those relationships between those characters continue to develop. The Pale Heart is stunning. It is a beautiful location, and it is by far the best patrol zone we've ever gotten. I need to turn down the music here. Mainly because, if you go into other patrol zones, whether it's the EDZ, Cosmodrome, the Dreaming City, so on and so forth, Neomuna, most of our, patrol zones are, free roam zones. They feel kind of dead, right? Like there just isn't a whole lot going on. But the Pale Heart, it has its quieter areas, but the main areas like the blooming and whatnot, there is always something going on. And that's to such a degree that at times, exploring the Pale Heart almost feels like a true MMO, right? Like something like Guild Wars 2 or something like that. Because in like Guild Wars, as you're exploring the world, there's always stuff going on, quests from various NPCs, world bosses, world events, so on and so forth. And don't get me wrong, the Pale Heart is not on that same level, but it starts to almost feel like that just because there's always something to do, which is fantastic. Like even the lost sectors, which usually I really don't get very excited for lost sectors because typically they're pretty slow, pretty boring. The lost sectors in the Pale Heart are probably the best that we have. They're a huge improvement over what we've seen in the past. But the Pale Heart also feels more like an actual world. Obviously, it's smaller than something like an MMO map, but there's such a different variety in the environment, the terrain, everything from the area around the Witnesses Tower to these huge snowy peak mountains and all that. Just truly incredible. The design of the Pale Heart, like Bungie outdid themselves with that, 100%. The other thing I do briefly want to mention is as far as like Cade goes, and we're going to briefly get into some spoilers here. I'll try to put a timestamp up so that you can see, you'll know where to skip to if you haven't had a chance to play the campaign yet. The first thing is I kind of wish that the Guardian and, the other characters involved had shown just a bit more like shock at seeing Cade alive. But regardless, seeing them meet up again was pretty touching and, kind of heartwarming and all that, which was very nice. And then that last mission, man, that final cuts. I mean, first off, the 12 player mission, that is fantastic. That is so much fun. And it brought something that I've wanted in Destiny for so long, and that is, having all of our allies, right? Keitel, Mithrax, so on and so forth, having them all fight right at our sides on the battlefield. That is something that I have wanted from Destiny for years now. That's what I was hoping with, in Lightfall, that we would have our allies on the battlefield with us. And that was the first time for me in Destiny where this war that we were, engaging in actually felt like a war. That felt like an actual battle because we had our friends fighting along our sides. And I hope in future Destiny content we get more of that because, man, that part of the mission alone was just very cool. On top of that, I loved how that mission functions. You almost have some kind of lightweight raid mechanics in there, DPS phases, that sort of thing. And it's a bit more challenging than what I would expect out of a normal matchmade activity. Granted, it is a very short one, but still, that is a huge improvement over most of the other matchmade activities that we have currently. And I would love to see more of that. And I would love to see more 12-player activities. Like, yeah, it's a little crowded at times, but that was still so much fun. And then that final cutscene, man, talk about I was starting to get a little bit emotional, honestly. Talk about a bittersweet ending to a 10-year-long saga. I was a little surprised and a little disappointed that Cade died. I was really hoping he would be back as a, permanent addition for the if not for the Vanguard, then maybe as, at least like the world vendor for the Pale Heart, that sort of thing. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised that he didn't stick around, but still a little bit disappointing. But if they were going to take Cade out of the picture, I think they did it about as well as they could have. Granted, in some ways, it does feel a little bit cheap to build all this hype around Cade coming back and then have him die, immediately after the campaign again. And I was a little bit surprised because I did not expect Cade to die, to be perfectly honest. The idea of bringing Cade back and also bringing back Nathan Fillion to play Cade and to only have him around for, one expansion does seem a little odd to me. But given that, in some ways, Destiny kind of mirrors like Marvel a lot, who knows, maybe he'll be back. It seems like, a lot of times people in Destiny who we thought were dead don't stay dead permanently. So maybe he'll be back, maybe he won't. Hard to say. I kind of doubt that he will, but, it's nice to think about, right? But moving away from spoilers now, this has been an incredible DLC so far. I took like nearly a week off to play it, and I'm so glad that I did. I definitely would not have gotten to experience it like I have if I hadn't done that. If you have not picked up this DLC, genuinely, you should. And this is the first time in a while I feel like I've been able to say that with confidence. If you have been thinking about coming back to Destiny, you should get the Final Shape because, man, it is incredible. So obviously the story starts Tuesday for the new episodes. Curious to see how those go. A little bit nervous. Seasons over the last couple of years have been very mixed. Especially, I would say the seasons over Witch Queen were, for the most part, not that great. Like Risen, it was just Battlegrounds again for the activity, let's be honest. The story was pretty good, but the Battlegrounds got stale pretty quick. Season of the Haunted, cool to see the Leviathan again. Tons of great loot, and the story was pretty good, at least for, Zavala's portion of it. But Duality really is not one of my favorite dungeons, and the seasonal Nightmare Containment, I think it was called, was cool in concept, and having the Leviathan as a patrol zone also cool in concept, but it got stale very quickly. So on and so forth. I will say the seasons, at least the last couple of seasons over the last year, I think have been better. Season of Defiance was pretty low tier. Didn't really care for it for the most part. Season of the Deep, salvage was awful. The weapons were disappointing. But I did like deep dives. I did like what they did there. Season of the Witch, I actually really loved. Good story, great activities. For the most part, really good loot. And then Season of the Wish was okay. Again, okay story, good exotic mission. Okay loot, not as great, I would say, if you're a PvP main. Definitely, I would probably better if you're a PvE main. Seasonal activities are pretty good, especially the coil. I really liked the coil. I love how the coil was done, this kind of, roguelike sort of thing. I hope that that is something that they expand on in the future. So I hope that the episodes that we get over the next year are good, right? They need to be better than what we've had over the last couple of years. And it's not as though we haven't had good seasons, right? Like all of the seasons after, that during that year of Forsaken were fantastic. Season of the Splicer, incredible. We've had, Season of the Chosen too. We've had good seasons. So I hope that the episodes are also, they keep up this level of quality that we've seen with Final Shape, because the game really needs that right now. Because regardless of how good Final Shape was, if the episodes fall flat after how rough the last couple of years have been, that would be really bad. So yeah, we just have to hope that the episodes are good. But the expansion itself, incredible. As far as just, base expansions go, not including seasonal content and all that, this is the best work Bungie has ever done, at least as far as Destiny goes. Outside of that, I posted that video, Why I Love Destiny. And this is a very bittersweet and kind of surreal moment for me. I have been playing this game for such a long time, 10 years, right? I can still remember playing the beta on my old Xbox 360. I have made friends that I very much enjoy spending time with, Brosidon, Wave God, the guys from that crew who you've seen me play with before, Trev and all that. I've, met some very cool people through Destiny, Cami Cakes and whatnot. You get the idea. I mean, my fiance and I got together because I got them into Destiny, and we've been together for about 4 years now. So this game has meant so much to me over the years, and I'm glad that we got the ending for the Light and Dark saga that we did. And it is also kind of bittersweet because, the unfortunate part is as we move on from it, right, eventually chances are the Light and Dark saga will eventually become all but inaccessible, right? Because, the day will eventually come, Destiny 1's servers, PS4 servers, Xbox One servers, they will be shut down, right? So that will make Destiny 1 pretty well unplayable unless we get like a release on PC, which I would love to see, just so that people could, experience that old sandbox and really see how far the game has come. And then, on top of that, even Destiny 2, right? The Red War, Curse of Osiris, Warmind, Forsaken, and all that, the vast majority of that is still not accessible. So there are huge chunks of content missing from the Light and Dark saga still, which does make me sad, because we've had all this buildup for the last 10 years, and newer players will never get to experience that, which is, it's kind of a sad thought, right? Because for a lot of us, this game has been a huge part of our lives. So I hope in the future, whether that's with Destiny 3 or, maybe Destiny 2 gets some big overhaul, whatever the case is, I hope they find some way to make it so that the Light and Dark saga can be experienced in its entirety, for players new to the franchise, right? Like they can play from, the first mission of Destiny 1 all the way up through Final Shape. That would be fantastic. I know that's probably a lot to ask. I know that's not realistic necessarily. But hey, we can dream, right? Because I mean, I would love to play through, the Destiny 1 stuff again. I would love to play through Forsaken again. Maybe even like the Red War, just for the sake of nostalgia, right? But yeah, so overall though, sad to see the Light and Dark saga end. We knew it was coming, but sad to see it end. But this was about the best possible way it could have ended. And the Light and Dark saga for me will always be, something where I look back and I see a lot of lost potential, to be sure. There have been countless times throughout the course of this story where, I've seen things and I've thought, man, if they would capitalize on this, that would be so cool. Or if they did this, that would be amazing, right? And none of it ever happened. But regardless, it has been a wild ride. It has been an incredible ride. It's had a lot of downs, but it's had a lot of ups too. And I think Bungie has, with Final Shape and the raid and, that excision and all that, I genuinely think they have closed out the Light and Dark saga in the best way that they possibly could. This has exceeded my expectations to a massive degree. I was not expecting something of the level of quality that we have gotten with Final Shape. So hopefully, you know, that doesn't turn to disappointment. Hopefully the episodes that are coming are good as well. Hopefully the next year is another golden age of Destiny. Nothing would make me happier than that. But for now, you know, I will always be grateful to Bungie, you know, for this game and the experiences I've had with it. I'm so grateful for all of the good times that I've had with my friends in this game. You know, again, Wave God and his group, you know, they all know who they are. Times I've spent with my fiance, times I've spent playing with Trev, times I've spent playing with, you know, all these different people, you know, Cammy Cakes, Ill Physics, so on and so forth. Just having a good fucking time playing this game has really been an incredible experience. I will cherish the memories I have of the Light and Dark saga for the rest of my life, very genuinely. So yeah, you know, big thanks to Bungie for creating this experience. Big thanks to all the people I've spent time with in this game for making it, you know, so incredible a lot of the time. But for now, Guardians, I hope you're enjoying the final shape. If you haven't picked it up yet, please do. Especially if you're a longtime player, you deserve to see this ending. It is a truly incredible ending to a 10-year saga. For now, I will see you on the next video. I'm very tired. I have tons of content to work on with this new expansion, weapon reviews, and all that. I have a lot to do. I am going to be streaming frequently over the next few days. So please come to my Twitch, give me a follow there. Schedule is a little inconsistent just due to my, you know, real life job, but I will try to stream as often as I possibly can. So come give me a follow, come hang out. And do me a favor, if you like this video, leave me a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button with the bell icon. Leave me a comment and share this video with anyone who you think might find it interesting, entertaining, so on and so forth. For now, I will see you on the next one. Peace, Guardians.